This page is the front cover of the November 29, 1996 issue of Famimaga 64, prominently featuring the iconic Nintendo 64 logo in its signature multicolor block style. The main headline highlights a double scoop on the Power Pro and Goemon series. The cover teases upcoming 64 titles, positioning itself as a preview catalog for the Nintendo 64 exhibit at Space World 96. Featured 64 games include anticipated hits like Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, known as Lylat Wars in some regions, Blast Corps, and Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. It also mentions other 64 titles covering various genres, from sports simulations like JICU Powerful Pro Yaku 4 and JICU J.League Perfect Striker, to more niche games like Chameleon Twist and Hexen. The cover also touches upon games for other platforms of the time, such as the Game Boy classic Donkey Kong Land and Super Famicom titles like Pinocchio. The magazine clearly focuses on the excitement surrounding the relatively new Nintendo 64 console and its upcoming software lineup at the key industry event. This page is a full-page advertisement for a mini Yonku simulation game on the Super Famicom. It promotes a complete simulator experience, highlighting a limited edition that includes a model car body, and accessories like a data storage unit and a one-handed controller are also featured. The game is advertised as being on sale now. The next page is an advertisement for the Super Famicom Mini Yonku RPG, Shining Scorpion. Let's go! Build your car, race anime characters, and battle up to 5 friends. Releases December 20th. This page is the table of contents for the November 29, 1996 issue of Famimaga 64, packed with previews and features for upcoming and recent games. You'll find articles covering major releases, like the highly anticipated Super Famicom version of Dragon Quest II at page 70, and the latest adventure in the DK series, Donkey Kong Country 3, on page 78. The content also dives into Game Boy titles such as Donkey Kong Land at page 94, and the Bonks Collection, Genshi Collection, on page 97. Nintendo 64 gets significant coverage, with Wave Race 64 detailed on page 51. There are also regular features, like the Famimaga 64 ranking box, a reader gift section, and a look at new game techniques. A comprehensive index lists games by title and directs you to their respective pages, covering a wide range of platforms including 64, Super Famicom, and Game Boy, featuring titles from major franchises alongside more niche releases, including the mini Yonku games seen on the previous page. The issue wraps up with a calendar of upcoming releases and early info on the next issue. This page is a complete guide to the games showcased at Nintendo 64 Space World 96. It highlights key titles appearing at the event, with a small section explaining how to read game specification charts, and another covering copyright information for the various games featured. Featured Nintendo 64 games include major releases like Mario Kart 64 and Star Fox 64, noting Star Fox's Japanese developer. Also previewed are Enix's Wonder Project J2, Koro no Mori no Josette, highlighting its imminent release and popularity, and Konami's lineup featuring Ganbare Goemon 5, Neo Momoyama Bakufu no Odori, and the baseball title JICU Powerful Pro Baseball. Other 64 previews cover Imagineer's Chojiku Night Baseball King with its realistic character designs and training mode, Seita's golf game Aiku no St. Andrews, and other titles like Wild Choppers, Coconuts, Japan's flying game, Plate and Barrel, and Epoch's tentative Doraemon game, where Giant attacks enemies by singing. The Maker Complete Guide section lists the publishers whose games are featured in this catalog, including Hudson, Koei, and others. Finally, a Game Boy section previews Shiren the Wanderer GB, Moonlight Village Monster, focusing on pre-release checks and strategy for difficult areas using in-game scrolls. The bottom of the page lists the magazine's extensive staff credits. This page provides an overview of Nintendo Space World 96, a major event happening on November 23rd and 24th at Makuhari Messe in Chiba. Admission is free, allowing attendees to play the latest games. A highlight is the opportunity to get hands-on with games like Mario Kart 64, with plans for a 4-player tournament at the event booth. The page also teases potential major announcements, questioning if this year will finally see the reveal of the 64DD expansion unit or the latest images from the next Legend of Zelda game, featuring a screenshot from the upcoming 3D title. Beyond 64, the event is an annual exhibition featuring new software from Nintendo and third parties, where visitors can play unreleased games across 64, Super Famicom, and Game Boy platforms. The Super Famicom remake of Dragon Quest II-1 and Into the Legend is confirmed to be playable. The article notes a special symbolic zone where highly rated, unreleased N64 software can be tried. Finally, the page includes information on how to access the venue. This page is a comprehensive guide to the N64 software exhibition area at Nintendo Space World 96. It provides a map showing the layout with 3 distinct zones: the symbolic zone, the event zone, featuring a stage, and the Nintendo 64 zone, detailing the numbered booths for each exhibiting manufacturer. A key is included to explain how games are presented, via video, playable demos, play OK, or in an undecided format. The page also lists numerous upcoming titles planned for exhibition across N64, Super Famicom, and Game Boy, highlighting key games like Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Wave Race 64, Pilot Wings 64, and the Super Famicom remake of Dragon Quest II-I. Finally, it details the stage events, including a Mario Kart 64 tournament held over both days of the event, complete with prize presentations and television filming, along with guest appearances. This page is a deep dive into the highly anticipated Mario Kart 64 for the Nintendo 64. It features a large, dynamic illustration showing many of the series' iconic characters racing, including Mario, Bowser, Wario, Yoshi, Toad, Peach, Donkey Kong, Koopa Troopa, and Lakitu flying above with the traffic light. The article confirms the game's release date of December 14th, and the price of 9,800 yen. It highlights that this is the final major title for 1996, and describes the excitement of finally getting to play a sample room, noting that the 3D controls feel different from the Super Famicom version, but are intuitive. It mentions the game was playable at Space World 96, allowing fans to experience the real 3D racing action firsthand. The page also includes a guide explaining the N64 controller's buttons and their functions in Mario Kart 64, detailing how to use the 3D stick for steering, buttons for items, acceleration, braking, and drifts, and the C buttons for camera views and displaying the map or speed meter. It also teases compatibility with the Rumble Pack, mentioning it was showcased at the Nintendo booth at Space World 96, and promises a realistic vibration experience. The overall tone is one of excitement and detailed anticipation for this landmark title. This page delves into the various game modes available in Mario Kart 64. It prominently features explanations and screenshots for Battle Mode, VS Mode, Time Attack, and Mario GP Mode. Battle Mode is a survival game where players aim to pop opponents' balloons. It now supports up to 4 players simultaneously on dedicated courses. A unique element highlighted is the bomb mini-car transformation after losing all balloons. The key to victory in Battle Mode is effective item usage. Beast Mode offers chaotic races for up to 4 players on standard racetracks. Time Attack is a solo mode where you race against your own ghost to achieve the fastest time. Mario GP Mode is the main championship, allowing up to 2 players to race against computer opponents across all 16 courses, aiming to become the champion by accumulating points based on race results. The page also shows how the screen layout changes for different numbers of players, with the course map position adjusting. Item explanations are teased for the following page. This page dives deep into the powerful items available in Mario Kart 64, picking up from the previous page's introduction to game modes. It details several key items, starting with the classic shells. The green shell is a straightforward projectile that travels in a straight line, bouncing off walls, and can be held behind your cart for defense. The red shell is a guided missile that homes in on the opponent ahead, relentless in its pursuit. You can also hold this behind your cart for protection. A key mechanic highlighted is the set state, where you hold an item behind your cart. This acts as a shield against incoming projectiles. When you obtain multiple shells, specifically the triple green shells or triple red shells, they circle your cart, forming a barrier that protects you and can be fired one by one. The page also introduces the notorious spiny shell, often called the blue shell. This devastating item targets the racer in first place, traveling along the track to strike them, often catching other racers in its path. The game notes it appears less often, especially if you're near the front, making it a powerful tool when you're trailing far behind. Strategic timing and use of these shell items are presented as crucial for victory. This page continues exploring the arsenal of items available in Mario Kart 64, detailing several powerful and tricky tools. It introduces the deceptive fake item box, which looks just like a real one but causes anyone who hits it to crash, and notes how difficult it is to distinguish instantly. The classic banana and banana set are shown, explaining how they cause spinouts, and how setting multiple bananas can create a significant obstacle. The page also covers the speed boosting items, the mushroom for a quick burst of speed, the triple mushrooms for 3 consecutive boosts, and the powerful super mushroom, which grants repeated dashes for a limited time. For disruptive tactics, the boo makes you invisible and lets you steal an item from an opponent. The lightning item is depicted as a game changer, shrinking all opponents and making them slow and vulnerable. Finally, the superstar grants temporary invincibility and increased speed, allowing you to bowl through obstacles and rivals alike. The strategic use of these varied items is key to victory on the track. This page dives into the secrets behind achieving the fastest times in Mario Kart 64, specifically focusing on the crucial technique of drifting to gain speed boosts, known as the mini-turbo. It explains how, unlike previous entries, Mario Kart 64 allows for precise micro-adjustments while drifting. The core process of triggering a mini-turbo is detailed through visual cues. Starting with a drift maneuver, you manipulate the analog stick in the opposite direction of the turn, causing the smoke from your tires to change color from white to yellow and finally to red. Releasing the drift button once the red smoke appears unleashes a powerful burst of speed, significantly faster than cornering normally. This technique is presented as absolutely essential for competitive play and setting record times. Additionally, the page covers the importance of the start dash. It instructs players to press the acceleration button at the precise moment the second light of the starting signal illuminates. Mastering this timing grants an immediate dash of speed off the line, providing a crucial early lead, described as having the power of a mushroom. These two techniques, the mini-turbo and the start dash, are highlighted as fundamental skills for dominating the track in Mario Kart 64. This page delves into the exciting features of the upcoming Mario Kart 64. It confirms that the game will boast a total of 16 distinct courses, a significant increase. Several new and imaginative tracks are previewed, including a course with a train, a bustling city setting featuring buses, the visually striking Rainbow Road, and a track centered around Peach's castle. A notable addition to the gameplay is the introduction of interactive obstacle characters that appear on the tracks to impede racers. Examples shown include chain chomps, penguins, snowmen, and Monty Moles, adding a dynamic challenge not seen in previous titles. Furthermore, the page highlights the strategic importance of discovering and utilizing shortcuts hidden within the courses. Finding these secret routes is presented as a crucial element for improving your rank and achieving faster times, building upon the advanced techniques like mini-turbos discussed previously. The example of navigating a cave passage to dramatically jump up the leaderboard underscores how vital these shortcuts are for competitive play. This page dives into Star Fox 64 for the N64, highlighting its upcoming release in March 97 for 9,800 yen. The game is a 3D polygon shooting title featuring the beloved Star Fox team as they urgently scramble to fight the evil Emperor and Maros and his forces. The iconic R-Wing space fighter is brought to life with realistic visuals, showcasing a significant graphical upgrade from the Super Famicom original. Players will maneuver the R-Wing through various stages, including dynamic environments like asteroid belts, planets, and even flying through mountain gaps or dodging collapsing buildings. Gameplay includes intense aerial combat against waves of enemies and challenging boss fights at the end of each stage. Excitingly, the N64 version introduces humanoid weapon enemies with tricky movements. The page also previews moments between stages, like team interactions with characters such as Fox and Slippy, enhancing the narrative. Key features mentioned are stages allowing 360-degree free flying and support for the Rumble Pack. The game also boasts a competitive mode for up to 4 players, promising action-packed dogfights against friends. This page showcases highlights from Nintendo's N64 lineup at Space World 96. A significant portion covers Star Fox 64, confirming its April 97 release for 9,800 yen. The article details the game's transition to 3D polygons, featuring classic R-Wing action alongside new ground-based segments where players control the Landmaster tank to battle enemies and navigate treacherous terrain. The screenshots emphasize diverse environments and large, impressive bosses. The write-up also notes the return of teammates like Falco, who provide support, and highlights the game's groundbreaking support for the Rumble Pack accessory, promising immersive feedback from impacts and explosions. The page also introduces Blastozer, an action game where players command an elite team operating powerful vehicles like bulldozers and robots. The objective involves clearing obstacles and securing paths, likely dealing with demolition and hazardous materials. The game was listed as Play OK at the event, and was also scheduled for release in April '97 for 9,800 yen. The focus here is clearly on showcasing the visual and gameplay variety of these upcoming 64 titles, particularly the technological advancements like 3D graphics and peripheral support demonstrated by Star Fox 64. This page continues the coverage of the N64 lineup from Space World 96, focusing on Konami's baseball title, GQ Powerful Pro Yaku 4. The reviewer got hands-on time with the demo, and highlights the biggest change: the implementation of the N64's 3D stick. Pitching utilizes the 3D stick for throwing and controlling the catcher's mitt, allowing for more nuanced course control, although the reviewer notes that precise mitt movement is currently quite challenging. Batting is also covered, showcasing various situations and the fundamental controls. The stadiums are rendered in full polygons for increased realism, and while the demo isn't final, the overall feel of control is noted as becoming more refined compared to previous installments. Screenshots illustrate the game's signature chibi character models, polygonal stadiums like Yokohama Stadium, and the on-screen interface displaying scores and stats. The page conveys that the game is progressing well towards its release. This page delves deeper into the gameplay mechanics of GQ Powerful Pro Yaku 4 on the N64, particularly focusing on how the 3D stick impacts control. Batting sees a significant change, with the meat cursor movement being quite different. It's not just about changing the shape, but also how it reacts. The reviewer notes the cursor responds very sensitively to the analog stick, which helps with aiming but can be tricky to master. The catching/reacting section highlights the challenge of hitting pitches, especially reacting quickly with the stick. Fielding is also discussed, with the reviewer feeling the outfield is quite vast, leading to a sense of needing deep defense. A specific point is made about the difficulty in getting fielders to stop quickly, suggesting their sudden stop ability has improved. Overall, the implementation of the 3D stick adds nuance but also presents a learning curve, with the stick's sensitivity and precise movement being key challenges the reviewer is experiencing with this early build. The page also shows examples of defensive shifts, indicating tactical options are present. This page dives into the highly anticipated Success Mode in GQ Powerful Pro Yaku 4, focusing specifically on pitcher development. The mode is presented as a significant source of enjoyment, allowing players to train a pitcher through various exercises shown in screenshots, including increasing maximum speed, control, stamina, and practicing different breaking balls. The reviewer notes that players can learn up to 5 types of breaking pitches. Stat progression seems to be clearly displayed, indicating how training affects different abilities. A notable change is the significant increase in the number of coaches, suggesting more complex interactions and strategies for player development. Various events are shown, including scenes in a room and interactions possibly involving phone calls to coaches, hinting at the depth and variety of the mode. While the reviewer is excited about the potential, some aspects, such as the specific processing of in-game scenes within this mode and the details of certain events, are still unclear in this early look. This page features an interview with 2 key developers of GQ Powerful Pro Yaku 4, Kenji Fujioka and Isao Akata. They discuss the creation of the game, highlighting features like the Success Mode, which allows players to train their own players, connecting with the previous page's focus on this mode. They also talk about the ability to exchange player data via the transfer pack, team editing, and the efforts put into refining the gameplay feel, particularly using the N64's 3D stick for batting and pitching. The developers emphasize the importance of ball physics, detailed sound design including player voices, and the accurate recreation of real-world stadiums like Tokyo Dome, Osaka Dome, and Nagoya Dome. The interview provides insight into the passion and dedication behind the game's development, touching upon graphical details like polygon counts, and even mentioning the demo version available at the Space World 96 event. They express hope that players will enjoy the culmination of their hard work. This page features the game Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, known as Ganbare Goemon 5 in Japan, for the N64. This title takes the long-running series into full 3D polygonal action-adventure, marking a significant evolution. The game features 2 distinct types of stages: standard action stages like castles, roads, and towns where you explore and battle enemies, and special stages centered around the giant robot Goemon impact, including massive boss battles and dynamic event sequences like the Impact Bomber sections. A major highlight is the support for two-player simultaneous co-op play, allowing friends to team up and progress through the 3D world together. Players will need to utilize the unique abilities of the different playable characters to overcome challenges. The screenshots showcase the game's vibrant, Japanese-style 3D environments and character models, including Goemon, Ebisumaru, and the iconic Goemon Impact robot. This page continues the exploration of the vibrant world in Mystical Ninja, starring Goemon. It focuses on the towns and villages players will visit, highlighting that these areas are designed to feel like various regions across Japan. You can enter many buildings, from iconic gates like the Kaminarimon resembling Asakusa's famous landmark, to general stores selling gear, inns offering rest, fortune tellers providing hints, and even ordinary private houses, where listening to conversations can yield valuable information needed for the adventure. This emphasizes the importance of exploration and interacting with the environment. The bottom section introduces the 4 classic playable characters: Goemon, Ebisumaru, Yae, and Sasuke. The game features a character switching system, requiring players to utilize each character's unique abilities to progress. Goemon fights with his pipe and has special moves like Explosion of Flame. Ebisumaru is described as a mysterious entertainer who gets money from defeating enemies and uses a powerful curry camera attack. Yae, the secret investigator, wields a katana, a powerful sound bazooka, and charming abilities like warp travel and swimming. Sasuke is the clockwork ninja, skilled with kunai and subweapons, and apparently enjoys baths and Japanese tea. This iconic group brings diverse skills essential for tackling the game's challenges. This page delves into the journey aspect of Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, setting the scene for battles against the encroaching forces of the Neo-Momoyama shogunate across beautiful Japanese landscapes that change with the seasons. It reminds players that while the scenery is lovely, enemies will attack unexpectedly on the path. The page shows various environments, from lush fields and valleys to a temple scene at sunset seemingly inspired by Kyoto, and even dim caves. It also hints at the presence of tea houses, classic period drama staples, where players might be able to take a break and eat dango. Crucially, the page introduces the main antagonists, the Neo-Momoyama shogunate, a mysterious organization that has taken over Edo Castle to conquer Japan. Their true identity is revealed to be a terrifying musical troupe, led by the musical star Harukaze Danshin, who plans to turn all of Japan into his personal stage. The page then introduces some of their underlings, including the seemingly cute but ferocious Attendant Squad, Kuri Robos, and other unique characters with appearances reminiscent of Japanese festival elements, like a seahorse and lion dance figures. This page explores the inner workings of the castle stages in Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. These sprawling interiors function as the enemy's main base, presenting players with continuous, intense battles. The castle environments are densely populated with foes, including various ninja units and the quirky Attendant Squad, as seen in screenshots featuring Goemon, Sasuke, and Yae in combat. More than just fighting arenas, these dungeons are intricate and filled with clever traps and puzzle elements, requiring players to navigate carefully and strategically. Defeating specific enemy groups, utilizing character abilities, and overcoming mid-bosses within these complex stages are key to progressing and ultimately dismantling the Neo-Momoyama shogunate's ambitions. The page highlights that success in the castle relies on keen observation and strategy, not just brute force, making these areas significant challenges in the game. This page focuses on the giant robot gameplay modes in Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. It introduces the dynamic Goemon Impact sections, where players pilot the massive robot in high-speed sequences like racing across the Golden Gate Bridge, requiring obstacle avoidance and combat. Key UI elements like the radar, distance meter, oil, HP, and money are explained. The page also highlights intense, one-on-one 3D battles against giant Karakuri mech bosses, presented from a cockpit view. These fights are described as close-quarters slugfests, where players use the analog stick for punching, emphasizing the visceral impact and dynamic feeling of the combat. These sections provide a significant shift in gameplay style, offering bombastic giant robot action alongside the traditional adventure elements. This page features an interview with key members from Konami Computer Entertainment Osaka, KCE Osaka, discussing their plans and titles for the Nintendo 64, particularly their presence at Space World 96. The interview includes Katsuya Nage, Keita Kawaminami, and Yoshihide Ebisu. KCE Osaka is highlighted as a core developer for Konami's N64 lineup, focusing on sports and action genres, drawing from their strong background in arcade development. They mention their upcoming lineup, initially featuring 4 titles. A significant portion of the discussion revolves around the new 3D Goemon game, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. The developers state that the core gameplay system remains true to the series' roots, featuring exploration, boss battles, noted to appear 3 times, and mini-games used to acquire new abilities. They compare its structure to Mario 64, emphasizing Goemon's focus on solving puzzles and progressing through stages to reach castles, rather than collecting numerous stars. They also note that all character movements are captured using motion capture. Other mentioned titles include popular series like JIKU-J.League and Power Pro. KCE Osaka aims for a steady release pace, potentially releasing around 10 titles per year in the future, reflecting their commitment to the platform. The page also hints at future interviews with J.League developers and players. This page previews the Nintendo 64 soccer title, JIKU-J.League Perfect Striker. It highlights the game's focus on realistic, real-time action and immersive commentary. The developers utilized motion capture technology to create smooth and detailed player movements, from dribbling while waving an arm to subtle footwork for ball control, connecting with the development approach discussed for other KCE Osaka titles. A key feature is the dynamic player condition system, represented in 5 levels from excellent to poor. This affects performance, stamina, and even the likelihood of injury during matches. The game includes a database of all 16 J.League clubs up to September. Screenshots showcase goal celebrations, specific event commentary like hat-tricks, and the team management screen, where players can set lineups and formations, taking player condition into account. The commentary is designed to react directly to the player's actions on the field, adding to the live match atmosphere Konami's sports games are known for. This page covers Konami's Mahjong game for the Nintendo 64. Check It! Mahjong Master, featured at Space World 96. It's a Mahjong title emphasizing realistic opponents with distinct personalities and reactions. The game features an opening movie showcasing atmospheric cityscapes and character close-ups, accompanied by taglines like, "It's the ultimate table game that reflects the universe." However, nobody can keep winning their entire life. The developer comments suggest the game runs smoothly with fast calculation speeds, offering varied actions and expressive characters. A key highlight is the focus on human-like quirks in the AI opponents. Players join the South End Club and face a cast of characters, each with a unique playing style and personality, such as focusing on specific hand shapes, theory, or being aggressive. Game modes include a story mode, where players aim to climb the ranks, challenge for titles, and reach the strongest rank league. There's also a player's room for customization and practice. The game aims to provide a challenging and engaging Mahjong experience through its diverse cast and dynamic AI. This page features Wonder Project J2, an adventure game for the Nintendo 64 from Enix, developed by Giro Studio and Mint. Scheduled for release on November 22nd, this game is all about teaching a robot girl named Josette. Players interact with Josette using a robot bird named Bard, which connects via the N64 controller pack that comes bundled with the game. The core gameplay loop involves responding to Josette's questions and thoughts using 3 main buttons: A for affirmation, blue; B for negation, green; and R for ignoring, ash. Each button has a distinct effect on Josette's development and mood. Affirming her, blue button, is generally positive, though consistently agreeing to bad behavior can turn her into a bad girl. Negating her, green button, is used for disagreement, and ignoring her, ash button, can make her sulky. The page highlights how player choices significantly influence Josette's personality and subsequent actions as she grows and learns. This page continues the look at Wonder Project J2, delving further into how players interact with the robot girl Josette. Beyond simply responding to her, players can initiate conversation using the blue and green buttons, influencing the nature of the interaction. The page highlights the use of items as a key mechanic for teaching Josette and triggering events. Players can move items around the environment, and using the correct item in the right situation is crucial for her learning and progression. Incorrect use won't yield results. Interaction with other characters is also emphasized as vital for Josette's growth. The game world, specifically Circonia Island and its areas like Blue Land and Blue Float/Noah, is full of places to explore. Players can take Josette to locations like the cinema, which features various films she enjoys, or places where she can take part-time jobs, such as mining. Finally, the page includes a photo showing real-life attendees or staff at the Tokyo Game Show, posing with promotional material for the game and highlighting the chance to meet Josette in person at the event. The information panel confirms the game's presence at TGS96 and teases another N64 title, Yuk Troublemakers, known internationally as Mischief Makers, also planned for exhibition. This page delves deeper into the World of Wonder Project J2, presented through entries from the Diary of the Robot Girl, Josette, titled, Checking Out the Events Happening on Blue Land Island with Josette's Diary. The page highlights specific in-game events players will experience. The first entry details an audition for a new movie hero. Josette attends with other potential candidates, and a director announces the start of the audition. Josette's portrait shows her looking worried or disappointed, perhaps after her first attempt, but the text emphasizes that this is her first step towards becoming an actress. Next, a diary entry describes Josette running away with her robot companion, Poco. An image shows them beside a large pipe, hinting at a race or challenge within the game. Josette's internal monologue suggests confidence in her own strength in this situation. The final entry showcases an encounter with a monster I've never seen before. Screenshots depict Josette facing a large, winged creature in a dark cave environment. A smaller inset image shows a different, smaller blue creature. Josette's portrait shows her looking determined or angry, and the text expresses frustration about encountering such dangers. The page emphasizes that leaving Josette in dangerous places like this is unacceptable, potentially implying player choice or consequence. These diary entries illustrate the variety of activities and challenges Josette faces, from auditions to exploration and encountering creatures. This page continues the in-depth look at Wonder Project J2, presenting more glimpses into the life of the robot girl Josette through her diary entries and commentary. First, we see Josette tackling cooking, finding it quite challenging. After some initial struggles, she manages to make something tasty, with Karen confirming it was genuinely delicious, not just polite praise. The commentary suggests mastering cooking takes practice. Next, the diary entry describes a trip to the dangerous back alleys, where Josette encounters adversaries, known as Jetto. Despite the peril, and being told it's impossible, Josette proves capable. Sapphira is also mentioned as causing trouble, though commentary notes she appeared brave. The shadowy figures encountered are referred to harshly as goons who betrayed my father and became silicon dogs. Another section focuses on a request from Pearl, hinting at plot progression. A screenshot shows Josette and Pearl by a large vehicle. Josette reacts with a startled, Kya! Suggesting something surprising happens. The commentary is casual, implying that Pearl's requests are important. Finally, there's a quick report on bonus items for fans. The J2 controller pack comes with stickers for a roller pack. More interestingly, there are new photos of Josette that are described as unexpected and surprising, showing her facing away from the camera in a tense pose, which the commentator finds oddly similar to another figure shown. The package design is also highlighted as intriguing. This page delves into the vehicle sections of Wonder Project J2, presenting a Siliconian vehicle encyclopedia. It showcases the ability to control vehicles in the game's polygon sea and sky environments. The feature highlights the Shiba fighter aircraft and air combat, noting that enemy Shibas are unmanned and don't counterattack, while the air fortress poses a greater challenge. Players can strive to become an ace pilot. The page also introduces two Siliconian ships, the unarmed transport Telotus, typically escorted by the destroyer Karato Selek, and the Karato Selek itself, a powerful vessel designed by scientist Flaken that might attack Blue Land. Controlling these vehicles in the 3D space, using the analog stick, is described as a fun, minigame-like experience. This page continues the Siliconian Vehicle Encyclopedia for Wonder Project J2. It prominently features the Dolphin submarine, showcasing its deep-sea capabilities. Players can navigate the underwater environment freely using the 3D stick, accelerate with A, decelerate with B, and use the Z button to launch a net for catching fish or items. The game allows switching viewpoints, enhancing the racing and exploration aspects. The page also highlights a fisherman's part-time job available to Geo, requiring a license and involving catching fish by reading their movements. This activity is presented as a good way to earn money. Additionally, the feature reintroduces two vehicles from the previous game, Wonder Project J, the turtle-type hydrofoil used for treasure hunting, and the unique, ornate jewel ship, described as a pleasure craft. This page previews the N64 baseball title, Chao Kukan Nightyaru Pro Yakyu King, set for release on December 20th. The game features full polygon two-head characters with charming expressions and supports up to 4 players for simultaneous or team-based matches. Players can delve into the edit mode to create original characters, which can even be traded. The game offers a wide variety of stadiums, 15 in total, with the beach stadium being particularly highlighted for its unique atmosphere. Fun details include pre-game practice pitches and amusing in-game moments like sliding fails or a batter seemingly predicting a home run. The opening demo is noted for its smooth animation and varied camera work. The MVP prize is a fancy car, adding a touch of extravagance. This page continues the preview of the N64 baseball title, Chao Kukan Nightyaru Pro Yakyu King. It delves into the core gameplay mechanics, emphasizing the unique control scheme, utilizing the 3D stick for precise pitching and batting. While it might take some getting used to, mastering these controls is highlighted as the key to victory. The game screen features a clear user interface, displaying essential information like the score, count, base runners, pitch speed, and player names from a perspective behind the backstop, ensuring players can quickly assess the game situation. For batting, players use the 3D stick to move a cursor onto the pitch path. The cursor changes from yellow to red, indicating the optimal time to swing with the A button. The size of this batting cursor varies between players, reflecting individual hitting styles. A helpful lock-on mode is also available for beginners. Pitching involves selecting the pitch type with the 3D stick before throwing. The trajectory of the pitched ball is visually indicated, changing color to warn of potential danger. Fielding is simplified for fly balls, with a cursor appearing at the ball's projected landing spot. The page also includes small vignettes, showcasing moments like manager OHGI in thought, and a player sliding into base. The next page dives into the growth mode, which features 5 distinct types of training covering all baseball skills and positions. Players can select their preferred training area and work on improving their abilities. Specific training exercises are highlighted, such as the smashing glass pitching drill, where you must break glass panels within 20 pitches across 5 difficulty levels, requiring precise control of the 3D stick as the challenge increases. Batting practice offers various difficulty settings, culminating in an ace level that tests your hitting skill against a tough pitcher. Fielding drills for both infield and outfield emphasize quickly catching and accurately throwing the ball, with higher levels demanding faster judgment and reactions. Catchers also have specific practice for handling foul flies and bunts. Success in these drills is evaluated by the coaches, pushing players to achieve their best. The page features screenshots showcasing these different training scenarios, giving a clear visual of what to expect. This page details the deep character creation features available in Imagineer's N64 baseball game shown at Space World 96. Players can create their own original players by first setting their name, choosing their position like pitcher, catcher, infielder, or outfielder, and selecting their batting/pitching handedness. The customization goes deep, allowing players to fine-tune pitcher data including type, starter or relief, speed, technique, pitching form, and even their favored pitch. Similarly, hitters can adjust their hitting form, batting power, contact ability, defense, and speed. It highlights the ability to recreate specific legendary hitting forms, even mentioning the famous pendulum swing. Appearance isn't left out either, with options to customize face, add glasses or beards, adjust body type, and select gear like gloves, bats, and arm guards. You can even set the player's uniform number. The page shows various screenshots of the creation menus, demonstrating the level of detail possible before presenting a screenshot of the completed player. The page also includes a brief information section listing other Imagineer titles planned for exhibition, including Chao Kukan Nightyaru Pro Yakyu King and J. League Dynamite Soccer 64, the latter shown with a game screenshot. This page features the N64 golf game, Glory of St. Andrews, scheduled for release on November 29th for 9,800 yen. This title aims to realistically recreate the historic St. Andrews Old Course, known as the birthplace of golf, and host to the Open Championship. The game faithfully captures the challenging layout and famous landmarks of this legendary British course. Screenshots showcase detailed views of the course, including iconic spots like the Swilcan Bridge on the final hole and the infamous Sutherland Bunker on the 15th. The game promises a realistic experience, with features like a player creation mode, where you can train your own golfer. It supports the controller pack and up to 4 players, allowing you to experience this hallowed ground in your own home. This page delves into the controls and mechanics of the 64 golf game, likely continuing the look at glory of St. Andrews. It highlights the use of the N64's 3D stick as a key feature, aiming to provide a realistic feel akin to swinging a real club. The controls allow players to determine shot direction, power, and even the impact point on the ball, influencing trajectory and spin. The process involves first selecting the appropriate club from the 14 available, then aiming the shot. Players must also consider factors like wind before executing the swing. The game uses a power meter and an impact timing system. Players pull back on the 3D stick to set power and then push forward, timing the hit with a shrinking circle to achieve a nice shot. Hitting the ball with perfect timing is crucial. Mistiming the impact results in a missed shot. The page also shows how adjusting the impact point on the ball can produce different types of shots, like hitting low for a rolling shot or high for backspin. This page continues the look at glory of St. Andrews, showcasing the game's realistic and challenging course design based on the famous links. It features difficult terrain with prominent hazards like deep pot bunkers, thick bushes, and strategically placed rivers that impact gameplay. The game impressively simulates dynamic weather, including fog that dramatically reduces visibility, rain that changes course conditions, and bright, clear days. Multiple game modes are available, such as stroke play, match play, tournament, and training, allowing players to experience golf in various ways. The tournament mode is highlighted for its realistic simulation of the British Open over 4 days, offering a truly competitive challenge. This page of the Nintendo 64 Space World 96 catalog from Seta focuses on the deep character creation and progression system in Glory of St. Andrews. It explains how players can create a golfer who serves as their alter ego, capable of growing into a top professional. Customization is key, starting with choosing a name, appearance from 8 types, height, which subtly affects abilities, and dominant arm. Players also select the type of ball, 2-piece or 3-piece, and customize their club set, choosing 14 clubs out of a total of 22 for a balanced bag. The desired ball trajectory, whether straight, fade, or draw, is also selected, an impact strategy. The game features an ability system based on 4 values: skill/technique, mental strength, stamina, and instantaneous power/explosiveness. These values influence shot distance, accuracy, fatigue, and the success rate of shots. Players can distribute these values freely, allowing for biased builds, like a highly skilled technician or a powerful driver, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. Player growth is dynamic, influenced directly by performance on the course. Good play helps abilities improve, while mistakes like hitting out of bounds can actually cause abilities to decrease, making consistency and avoiding errors crucial for development. Abilities can change significantly, sometimes even showing sudden jumps during a tournament, reflecting the golfer's progress. The ultimate goal is to improve your score and cultivate your golfer's skills through play. This page showcases 2 upcoming 64 titles from Seta. First up is Rev Limit, a realistic racing simulation. The game aims for authenticity by using detailed data based on real car races, calculating factors like G-force, road surface conditions, tire friction, and even damage effects on handling. Players can choose to challenge for speed as a driver, or take on the strategic role of a team manager, overseeing the entire team in a comprehensive simulation mode. There are 3 distinct race types: endurance races requiring strategic pit stops, drag races focus purely on straight-line speed, and sprint races emphasizing quick lap times. Players can also delve into detailed machine settings, like refueling and tire changes, to optimize their approach. The second game featured is IKA Ga Gotoku, Super High Speed Go. Leveraging Seta's expertise in Go games and the 64's processing power, this title promises a formidable computer opponent capable of high-speed thinking. It's presented as a battle of wits, where the AI is strong even in its current development state, with high expectations for other modes. The screenshot shows a standard Go board setup. This page features 2 upcoming 64 titles from PlayOk, along with a look at a fascinating hardware innovation. First up is Wild Choppers, a shooting game where you pilot combat helicopters against terrorists in detailed 3D environments. The game emphasizes strategic thinking as you complete missions, navigate dynamic battlefields, and choose from 8 different types of helicopters, each with unique characteristics. A cool feature highlighted is the Report Chopper's camera system, offering various viewpoints for dramatic effect.
This game is scheduled for release in January 97.
Next is Morita Shogi 64, a shogi, Japanese chess, game. Leveraging the N64's power, it promises a strong computer opponent. Key modes include ranked matches, research modes, and network play, suggesting a focus on serious shogi players. The game also mentions features for learning shogi through lessons and match analysis, aiming to improve player skill. It's slated for a May 97 release. Finally, the page highlights a significant feature: the communication cartridge. This innovation integrates communication functionality directly into the game cartridge itself. This built-in capability allows for online features like network shogi matches or potentially racing tournaments, aiming to provide online access at a lower cost than requiring separate peripherals. This page features the upcoming 64 3D shooter, Blade and Barrel, from Kemco. Set on a futuristic frontier planet, the game pits players against foes in fully rendered, destructible 3D environments, where even tall buildings can be brought down, offering tactical opportunities like using rubble for cover. A key element is the choice of vehicle, with players selecting from 8 different types, 4 helicopters and 4 tanks, each possessing distinct strengths and weaknesses detailed by parameters like speed, defense, and weapon power. While helicopters offer free movement in the air, tanks are limited to the ground, but can use terrain strategically. The game's controls are explained in detail for the N64 controller. Movement is primarily handled by the 3D stick, allowing for forward/backward motion, turning, and speed adjustment. The D-pad can also be used for basic movement. Weapon firing is tied to the LL and R triggers, with a Z trigger function specifically for barrel roll attacks when using the analog stick. The SIC buttons control vehicle-specific functions like ascent/descent for helicopters or turret rotation for tanks, while the AB buttons allow players to cycle through different viewpoints, from overhead to a cockpit perspective, adapting to the flow of battle. The page highlights the strategic depth offered by the varied vehicles and environments. The next page delves further into Kemco's Blade and Barrel, explaining key aspects of the gameplay interface and combat. It breaks down the screen display, highlighting the radar, which is crucial for tracking enemy locations, the missile counter showing your remaining ammunition, and the energy gauge representing your vehicle's health. The primary objective is simple: eliminate all enemies. Crucially, the game features an item system, where destroying ground facilities like buildings and enemy missile pods yields valuable pickups. These include power-ups for your main weapon, barrel shells, and missiles, as well as repair boxes to restore damage. The page also details the exciting multiplayer modes, confirming support for up to 4 players battling it out simultaneously. In 2-player matches, the screen is split horizontally, showing each player's perspective, while 4-player combat utilizes a quadrant split. Success in battle is determined by eliminating your opponents, leading to clear win or lose screens. This confirms Blade and Barrel offers intense, competitive multiplayer action alongside its single-player missions. This page covers Doraemon, Nobita, and the 3 Fairy Spirits for the Nintendo 64, an action game slated for a March 97 release. It features 3D polygonal versions of the classic Doraemon characters, who must use various secret gadgets to save the fairy world. Different stages are designed to utilize the unique abilities of each character. For example, Nobita, despite his lack of athletic prowess, is surprisingly good at shooting. The page highlights several famous gadgets like the Henshin Seal, Passing Hoop, Deep Sea Cream, and the Anywhere Door, explaining their effects. The characters are voiced, using the same voices from the anime, adding to the authentic feel. The game promises varied gameplay, depending on which character you control and which gadget you employ. This page previews several Nintendo 64 games from the N64 Space World 96 exhibition catalog. First up is Dual Heroes from Hudson, a 3D fighting action game featuring hero-like characters in battlesuits designed by famous artists like Amamiya Keita. The concept art shows a ruined future Earth as the stage, with descriptions of a towering structure and a destroyed city. The game highlights two characters, Gei, a karate expert wielding fire, and Zen, a martial arts weapon user powered by ice, fighting for freedom in a rough style. Both the release format, date, and price were undecided at the time. Hudson also showed off Power League 64, their latest baseball game, and a soccer game simply titled Soccer 64. Power League 64 is noted for its beautiful visuals and continues the popular series. The soccer game was a video exhibit with no firm details yet, leaving whether it's a new game or related to previous J.League titles unclear, but anticipation was high. Finally, GameBank presented Hexen, a 3D action game set in a medieval world.
This game was playable at the event.
Players choose from classes like fighter, cleric, or mage, each with unique attack methods, to explore, solve mysteries, and battle monsters. The game supports up to 4 players simultaneously and controller pack, with a scheduled release for February 1997 and a 64 meters capacity. Screenshots show intense monster encounters, combat using fists and magic, and puzzle solving within the map environments. The next page continues the look at Nintendo 64 titles, likely from the N64 Space World 96 event. First up is Turok, Dinosaur Hunter, presented as a 3D action game based on the popular American comic. Players navigate a vast, wild, prehistoric world filled with dinosaurs and bioengineered creatures from a first-person perspective, engaging in intense combat. The game promises diverse encounters and exploration. It was previewed as playable, with a planned release for March 1997. Next is Chameleon Twist, a unique 3D action game where players control a chameleon character. The core mechanic revolves around using the chameleon's long tongue for various actions, such as eating enemies, manipulating objects, and navigating the environment. The preview highlights the tongue's versatility and the game's colorful, cartoonish style, including a glimpse of a large boss character. It was shown as a video exhibit, targeting a November 1997 release, and featuring support for up to 4 players. Finally, the page previews Cavalry Battle 3000, described as a futuristic racing game.
Players ride distinct cavalry vehicles in high-speed races.
A key feature is the ability to attack rival racers using missiles, adding a combat dimension to the competition. This title was also a video exhibit with a planned November 1997 release. This page continues showcasing titles from the N64 Space World 96 event. First up is Macross, Another Dimension, a flight simulation game based on the classic anime series. Players take on missions in the vastness of space, earning points to power up their transforming Valkyrie mechs. The battles are described as dynamic and real-time, allowing for strategic approaches and varied events. The preview shows off the cockpit view and the distinct transforming fighter.
Next is 64 Dai Sumo, a sumo wrestling game featuring charming, cartoonish polygon graphics. Players control the sumo wrestlers using the left stick for movement and the right for special moves. The game highlights dynamic throws and promises mini-games in addition to the main sumo bouts. The screenshots show intense face-offs and powerful techniques. Finally, we see Pro Mahjong Kiwami 64. This mahjong simulation is part of the established Kiwami series. It offers different modes, including a pro mode, where you can experience the strategies and flow of professional mahjong players, and a training mode, with quizzes. The game challenges you to face off against skilled AI opponents who won't make winning easy. It was scheduled for release in January 1997. This page continues the coverage of N64 titles, starting with Mission Impossible. This is a 3D adventure game based on the hit movie, featuring dynamic perspective shifts between first-person and third-person during action sequences. The game utilizes realistic polygon graphics and motion capture for detailed character movements. Screenshots highlight the attention to detail in environments like the embassy and realistic character models, promising intense gunfights and action. Next, we look at Humans lineup. They are bringing Human Grand Prix to the N64, likely the 4th installment, which is anticipated to feature full polygonal graphics, building on the popularity of the SFC series. Human also has a mahjong game planned for N64, possibly a sequel to their SFC hit,
Mahjong Taikai 2, Koei's Pro Mahjong Kiwami 64, is featured again, described as a mahjong simulation, where you can play against famous historical figures. Finally, Video System enters the N64 scene with Sonic Wings 64, a 3D shooter based on their arcade classic, known internationally as Aero Fighters. Given Video System's strong history with arcade shooters, there are high expectations for this title. They are also developing a mahjong game for the system. The next page is dedicated to Wave Race 64, offering high-performance techniques and tips for achieving new records. It also presents the results of the second round of a time and score attack competition. The time attack section, referred to as the Grand Prix, lists the top players, their times, and the character used, David Mariner, with commentary noting their stable cornering and jumping skills. The score attack competition, set on the Marine Fortress course, highlights players who mastered acrobatic maneuvers. The results show top scores achieved using the Miles Jetter character, with a detailed list of the winning player's technique sequence, including loops, somersaults, passing through rings, and hitting checkpoints. The page emphasizes that mastering basic techniques and utilizing specific moves is key to success in both time and score challenges. This page provides high-level time attack strategies for the Marine Fortress course on hard difficulty in Wave Race 64, with a Nintendo reference time of 113,512. The core challenge emphasized is the turbulent water, which must be skillfully managed and even utilized for faster times. Key techniques detailed include a speed-preserving shortcut, right at the start, requiring max power usage. The guide also recommends a central path through the obstacle area, which involves riding over floating objects on waves. A crucial first-lap shortcut through the water gates is explained, specifically highlighting the underwater route accessible by timing your dive with the waves. The page stresses the importance of using waves for acceleration and jumps, as well as maintaining precise steering control despite the rough conditions, showing how to prevent the choppy water from disrupting your line. A map of the course illustrates the suggested route and locations for applying these advanced tactics. Mastering these specific maneuvers is presented as essential for significant time improvements on this difficult course. This page provides a strategy guide for the score attack mode on the Cool Weave course in Wave Race 64, aiming for high scores through ice acrobatics. The course features unique ice jump stands that are crucial for performing tricks.
The guide explains how to approach these jumps head-on to maintain stability for tricks. It highlights sections ideal for chaining together multiple tricks to accumulate points, especially in the later part of the course, noting that remaining time at the finish converts into a significant score bonus. A map illustrates the course layout, including jump platforms, rings, checkpoints, and areas of ice flow. Specific advanced techniques are detailed, such as challenging the ice loop by riding up a slope and inputting loop commands, and utilizing a shortcut across an ice-ground area. Landing tricks cleanly is emphasized as key to maximizing points. A warning is also given about sliding too much on the ice, which can negatively impact performance and potentially lead to a timeout. The Nintendo reference score for this mode is 14,381 points. This page is a strategy guide for achieving high scores in Wave Race 64, focusing on advanced techniques and record-breaking tactics. It introduces the Break Hurricane technique, a powerful new acrobatics move that can earn over 10,000 points if executed correctly by riding up an icy slope and performing multiple spins. The guide explains how to perform intense spins on the water and emphasizes the importance of landing cleanly after tricks to maximize points. It provides score breakdowns for clearing rings and for consistently performing acrobatic stunts at checkpoints and at the goal line. Further techniques covered include utilizing both small waves and the base of larger waves for jumps, using the submarine maneuver to dive underwater, and effectively using jump stands to gain height or take shortcuts. The article also discusses the strategic use of shortcuts, warning that poorly executed attempts can lead to time loss. Mastering these advanced moves and understanding the scoring system are presented as key to setting new records. This page is a strategy guide and preview for the Game Boy game Furai no Shiren GB, Tsukikagemura no Kaibutsu. It focuses on key events and how they unfold, along with details on the challenging difficult mode. The guide provides flowcharts detailing the steps required to rescue the character Fumi, rescue Kappa, and defeat the monster Orochi. These charts lay out the sequence of actions needed, like visiting specific houses, talking to people, and exploring dungeons. There's also a table explaining the conditions under which certain events occur, and how they differ depending on playthrough count, first, second, third times. For example, it lists when you get certain items or gain allies. A significant section discusses the difficult mode, which is unlocked after clearing the Super Famicom version of Shiren the Wanderer. This mode is noted for increasing enemy variety and status effects, requiring new strategies for combat and item use. The article emphasizes that understanding event triggers and conditions is crucial for success, especially in this harder mode. The page also mentions the game's release date of November 22nd and price of 3,900 yen. This page continues the strategy guide for Shiren the Wanderer GB, the monster of Tsukiji Village, focusing on the various creatures you'll encounter and how to deal with them. It emphasizes understanding each monster's unique properties and equipping yourself appropriately before heading into the dungeon. A comprehensive list details monsters and the floor ranges where they appear, starting from the earliest floors with weaker foes like Mamoru and Nezumi Kozu, and progressing to later floors with more challenging enemies like Itemhead and Chrome Armor. The guide then dives into specific monster types, providing tactical advice alongside screenshots. For example, the Kunekune Honey can lower your level with its dance, making close combat risky. The Cell Armor can knock your equipment away and attacks with a net. Other sections highlight the Bomb Sea Urchin's explosion, the Oyaji Sensha's wide-range bomb attack, and the Chouchin Fugu, which constantly drains your fullness. Strategies for dealing with troublesome foes are provided, such as prioritizing the healing rabbit because it heals other monsters, being wary of the gaze which can steal items or use spells, and knowing that the Debuta's indirect attack has a wide range, making adjacent combat safer. It also warns about the Shuburu's ability to summon allies, and the Pakarepukin's frustrating ability to move through walls. Understanding these specific monster behaviors is crucial for survival, particularly in the game's more difficult sections. This page continues the guide for Shiren the Wanderer GB, the monster of Tsukiji Village, shifting focus from monsters to the crucial topic of identifying unknown items. In this game, items you find are often unidentified, marked as unknown, and trying to use them blindly can have negative consequences. The guide explains that there are two primary methods for identifying items: using an identify scroll, or attempting to use the item directly to discern its effect. It also highlights the strategic importance of observing item prices in shops, as the selling price of an item can often hint at its true identity or category. The page provides a comprehensive list of various item types you'll encounter, including staves, pots, and bracelets. It details the potential effects of each item, from beneficial ones like stat boosts or teleportation, to detrimental effects like curses or unexpected transformations. Importantly, it includes tables showing the range of prices for each item type, noting that prices can vary, but understanding the potential range is key to using the shop identification method effectively. Mastering item identification is presented as a vital skill for success in the dungeon, allowing players to leverage powerful items and avoid harmful ones. The varying prices add another layer of strategy, as careful observation can provide clues without the risk of direct use. This Shiren the Wanderer GB guide details item identification and use. It covers scrolls, herbs, arrows, food, weapons, and shields, listing specific items and their effects, e.g., map revealing scrolls, healing herbs, weapon attack/defense. Tables show item prices, crucial for identifying items before use. The guide emphasizes strategic use of item properties, hinting at item synthesis for stronger gear. Mastering item use is key to progressing through the game's dungeons. This page is the Famimaga 64 ranking section, giving you a quick look at popular games, reader evaluations, and sales figures. This week's top 3 features Mario Kart 64 holding strong at number 1, with the commentator exclaiming they're like the wind now. Super Famicom's Dragon Quest 2-1, and Into the Legend slipped to second place despite a high score, leaving fans wondering if it can reclaim the top spot. Wonder Project J2 maintains its third-place position with a significant point increase. The page includes a dynamic screenshot from Mario Kart 64, showing Wario racing, and notes the excitement for new courses and items, especially the desire for 4-player battles. Below, the reader's request top 30 lists games ranked by reader votes, showcasing a diverse mix across N64, Super Famicom, and Game Boy, including highly anticipated titles like Mother 3 and Pokémon Gold/Silver, alongside current hits like Yoshi's Story and Star Fox 64.
This poll-based ranking provides a snapshot of what gamers were most interested in at the time. This page features the Reader's Ranking 96 section, focusing on reader evaluations of new games. It highlights several recent releases across Super Famicom and Game Boy platforms. One notable title is Marvel's Superheroes, War of the Gems for the Super Famicom, an action game where players appreciated using various Marvel characters, though some felt the moveset was limited. Also on Super Famicom is Marvelous, another treasure island, an adventure game praised for its action elements and the ability to switch between the three main characters, which readers found engaging. Tower Dream, another Super Famicom title, is presented as a board game featuring unique mechanics like buying land, building structures, and company mergers, which adds an interesting strategic layer. Moving to Game Boy, Picross 2 is featured, noted for having more difficult puzzles than its predecessor, but also improved features. Readers felt a greater sense of accomplishment upon solving them.
Lastly, Yoshi's Panapon, known internationally as Tetris Attack featuring Yoshi, for Game Boy is reviewed. It's described as having the same rules as the Super Famicom version and is enjoyed for its accessibility on the handheld console. A separate evaluation box highlights Wave Race 64, praising its realistic and thrilling wave motion graphics and sensitive 3D stick controls, noting it feels entirely different from previous racing games. This section gives a quick shout out to a popular N64 title alongside the SFC and GB reviews. This page continues the reader ranking section, featuring more comments on Wave Race 64. Readers praise the score attack mode, the cool double loop trick, the impressive water graphics and wave physics, and the distinct feel of the game, comparing it to Super Mario 64. Some note that reversing is difficult but enjoyable, while others feel the background graphics aren't as clean as the water, and the control scheme takes getting used to. The page also includes a section for reader evaluations on other games. Magical Drop 2 receives positive feedback, with players becoming hooked after playing in arcades. The core mechanic of connecting and erasing balls is found interesting, characters are described as cute, and the unique combo system is appreciated despite being initially difficult to master. Wizardry Gaiden IV is also discussed, with mixed opinions. Some appreciate the system changes from previous titles, and the ability to create characters with bonus stats. However, other comments mention random camera changes, unappealing character designs, a lack of transparency in the water during versus mode, and issues with character hit detection. Some found the score attack mode uninteresting, or felt the characters needed more moves. Finally, there is a section inviting readers to submit their opinions on games, favorite rankings, and illustrations for inclusion in the magazine. This page presents the weekly game sales rankings for 2 consecutive weeks, October 21st to 27th, and October 28th to November 3rd. In both weeks, the Game Boy title Pokémon Red and Green, or Blue, holds the top spot, followed closely by Picross 2 on Game Boy at number 2. Looking at the first week, the new Game Boy puzzle game Yoshi's Panel de Pon debuts impressively at number 4, while Wave Race 64 for the Nintendo 64 maintains a strong presence at number 3. The Super Famicom sees a new entry, Tower Dream, at number 5. Moving into the second week, Pokémon and Picross 2 remain unchallenged at the top. Yoshi's Panel de Pon climbs to number 3, pushing Wave Race 64 down to number 4. A significant new release for the Super Famicom, Marvelous, Another Treasure Island, enters the chart at number 10, sharing the spot with Super Mario 64. Overall, Game Boy titles demonstrate remarkable strength, particularly in the top 5, while the Super Famicom continues to see new releases and maintain a presence with older popular titles like Yoshi's Island and Kirby Superstar. The charts are accompanied by screenshots of Yoshi's Panel de Pon and Marvelous, Another Treasure Island. This page features the Famimaga Journal, bringing readers fresh information across different categories like information, events, goods, and movies. In the food section, the focus is on the Puyo Puyo Cake Kit 96. Gamers could purchase this kit via mail order and decorate their own Puyo-themed Christmas cake. A photo contest was held where participants submitted pictures of their decorated cakes to win prizes, like a computer or a digital camera. Images show examples of creatively decorated cakes featuring Puyo Puyo characters. The amusement section highlights everyone's favorite ice demon, Jack Frost, the iconic mascot of the Shin Megami Tensei series. He's making a splash in amusement centers, appearing as prizes in crane games. Beyond the plushies, fans could also find various Jack Frost goods like stationery and even Purikura photo booth stickers featuring the character. As a special present for readers, there's a chance to win exclusive Jack Frost CD cases
3 lucky winners will receive this cool merchandise featuring the cheerful demon. This page is clearly a treat for fans of both Puyo Puyo and the Atlas Classic Shin Megami Tensei series. This page features diverse gaming and entertainment news. The Kraydrom section introduces Gundam Shop Volume 1 Windows Edition, a database software released on November 28 for 3,500 yen. It allows fans to browse data on Gundam plastic models, including photos of completed kits, design drawings, and even classic TV commercials. It sounds like a must-have resource for any serious gunplay enthusiast.
In the events section, there's a promotional tour for Sakura Tange's release of Be Myself.
These release events are happening across Japan, allowing fans to connect with the artist. The soft section highlights the much-anticipated Game Boy title, Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer, GB, The Monster of Tsukikage Village, which was delayed but is now set for release on November 22 for 3,900 yen. A strategy guide is also available for 890 yen, which is always helpful for navigating tough dungeons. The screenshot shows the classic top-down perspective gameplay, where strategic movement is key to defeating monsters. Finally, there's a present giveaway where 3 lucky readers can win a set, including the Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer GB, software, and its strategy guide. Winning both is a great way to start exploring the game's challenging world. This page features a collection of new CD, video, and book releases, alongside a PlayStation SD Gundam campaign and an Angélique event. The CD and video section highlights various releases, including the Dragon Quest Legend soundtrack, music from X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Tushinden 2, albums by Mami Kingetsu and from the game Harukaze Sentai V-Force, and a Twinbee Paradise Drama CD. There are also videos for the anime series, Ninku and the Violinist of Hamon. The PSSD Gundam G World Campaign is recruiting 50 pilot names from readers to be included randomly in the game. To enter, you need to submit a desired pilot name and answer 5 questions about your favorite mobile suit, battleship, pilot, Gundam series, and owned Gundam games. An Angélique Cell exhibition event is being held to celebrate the release of the PCFX version of Angélique Special 2. The exhibition runs from late November to mid-December at Animate stores, featuring cell art from the series with free entry. Finally, there's a present giveaway, offering 10 lucky readers a poster for Angélique of the Mysterious Country. This page features a reader survey and a present giveaway for Famimaga 64 readers. You can win one of 5 Game Boy games.
Versus Collection, Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer GB, Donkey Kong Land, Genshin Collection, or Pachikun Game Gallery, giving away 12 copies of each, totaling 60 prizes. The survey covers demographics, gaming habits like how many games you own and buy, and asks about your favorite types of magazine articles, such as reviews, strategy guides, or news. It also asks for opinions on the current issue's content and interest in specific hardware, like the Nintendo 64, Game Boy Pocket, and the N64 disk drive. Readers are prompted to rate games they've played using a 5-point scale, considering important aspects like value for money, originality, character appeal, music and sound effects, controls, and how addictive the game is. The page provides instructions on how to fill out the survey postcard. The deadline for entry is November 28th, and the winners will be announced in the December 27th issue. There's also a list of winners from the previous giveaway included. This page presents several tables, likely providing options or data related to a reader survey. Table 1 lists numerous game titles across different platforms. It includes a substantial list of anticipated Nintendo 64 games, many still under tentative titles, alongside titles for the Super Famicom, Game Boy, including titles supporting 13 color mode, and Virtual Boy. Table 2 lists various companies and topics featured in the current magazine issue, such as major publishers like Nintendo, Konami, Enix, and Sega, as well as specific games and articles like Wave Race 64 and Donkey Kong Land. Table 3 provides a list of different magazines, encompassing various gaming publications and other types of magazines. Finally, Table 4 presents a comprehensive list of different video game consoles and computer platforms from the era. Together, these tables likely formed part of a larger reader feedback mechanism or survey within the magazine. This page offers a preview of Dragon Quest II-1's The Seeds of Salvation for the Super Famicom, emphasizing preparation for the upcoming release. The main title announces a confirmation of key points before departure,
and a thorough introduction to the initial stages of the adventure. It highlights essential knowledge needed for players, covering the first towns, dungeons, and even some unreleased secret information. The article points out key features, like the prologue being essential viewing, and the character creation/job system being summarized. It mentions that the SFC version includes enhancements while retaining the core appeal of the original game, with some added elements like the Pachisi track board game. Several screenshots are featured, including scenes from the game's opening moments.
One screenshot shows characters in a town, with dialogue boxes.
Another shows a dramatic battle scene, asking about the fate of Ortega, the main character's father, suggesting a significant plot point involving him. The page also confirms the release date of December 6th and the price of 8,700 yen, noting it's a role-playing game with 32 megabits of data and backup saving. The visuals showcase the classic Dragon Quest pixel art style, now enhanced for the Super Famicom.
This page continues the preview of Dragon Quest II-1, The Seeds of Salvation for the Super Famicom, delving into specific game mechanics and features. It highlights 5 key points about the game.
Point 1 and 2 focus on character personalities and how they significantly affect stat growth upon leveling up, providing depth to character development. Screenshots show character stats and an example of a personality boosting speed. Point 3 discusses the battle system's high degree of freedom, allowing players strategic control over party actions. A screenshot displays the command menu used during combat. Point 4 praises the outstanding visuals and sound. It notes the detailed graphics, dynamic monster movements, and the excellent sound design, including rearranged music themes for nighttime. Multiple screenshots illustrate various battle scenes and different day/night backgrounds. Finally, Point 5 introduces fun extra elements, like the Pachisi track, making its series debut, and the Monster Arena, where players can gamble on monster fights. Screenshots show the Pachisi board map and the setup for the Monster Arena. The page emphasizes these additions enhance the game's replayability and enjoyment.
This page continues the deep dive into Dragon Quest VI, focusing on character creation and the impactful personality system. It explains how the protagonist's personality isn't just for show. It significantly influences their ability growth as they level up, adding a unique layer to character development. A large list of possible personalities is shown, ranging from brave and kind to clumsy or stubborn, each affecting stats differently. The article reveals how the protagonist's initial personality is determined through a series of questions presented at the start of the game. Screenshots illustrate various scenes where these questions are posed. Notably, the final question is presented as a special event, further immersing the player in the character creation process and making the initial choices feel momentous. Below, the page introduces the game's robust job system, showcasing 4 of the 9 available classes. The hero is the main character's job, capable of using various weapons and magic. The priest specializes in healing spells, essential for survival. The mage focuses on powerful offensive spells like Frizz and Bang, but has limitations with equipment. The warrior is a master of weapons and armor, excelling in physical combat. This job system is a core mechanic, allowing for extensive party customization and strategic depth throughout the adventure. This page continues the deep dive into Dragon Quest VI's mechanics. Building on the personality system from the previous page, it shows how the determined personality impacts character growth and how using stat-boosting seeds can further influence this development. The article then explains how to manage your party. You can register potential companions on the second floor of Roida's shop, allowing you to freely assemble your adventuring party at any time from those you've registered. A major feature highlighted is the job change system, accessible at all trades Abbey. This allows characters, except the hero, to switch between different classes. Changing jobs resets the character to level 1 in the new class, but they retain half of their previous experience, and their skill points are based on their level before changing jobs, making mastering multiple classes beneficial. Finally, the page introduces several new job classes beyond the initial 4. The Thief, skilled in finding items and treasure. The Sage, a powerful magic user combining priest and mage spells. The Merchant, capable of finding extra gold and learning unique abilities like appraisal. The Gadabout, whose usefulness varies but can learn unique skills. And the Martial Artist, specializing in unarmed combat and powerful physical skills, often exceeding the warrior's attack power without needing equipment. This page takes you on a journey to Aliahan, the starting point for your adventure in Dragon Quest II-1. It details the essential locations within the town. First, you'll visit Aliahan Castle to meet the king.
He provides crucial information and allows you to record your adventure, essentially saving your game progress. Next is Roida's Tavern, a vital spot where you recruit companions to form your party. The town features standard RPG amenities. The item shop sells necessities like medicinal herbs and wings of the wyvern, useful items for healing and quick travel.
You can carry a limited number of items in your bag.
The church provides healing services, can lift curses, and notably allows you to revive fallen party members for free. The inn is where you can rest to fully recover your hit points and magic points. The weapon shop stocks initial gear like cypress sticks, clubs, and basic armor, preparing you for the challenges ahead. Finally, visiting the hero's house lets you return home and speak with your family before venturing out into the world. Aliahan provides everything a burgeoning hero needs before setting off on their quest.
This page continues the Dragon Quest II Adventure Guide, stepping out of Aliahan to explore the immediate surroundings and delve into the first proper dungeon, the Cave of the Serpent. After getting acquainted with Aliahan, the guide suggests exploring the nearby areas and preparing for the challenges ahead, warning against venturing too far too soon. The page introduces some of the monsters you'll encounter early on, including the familiar slime, frogger, man-eater moth, babule, great anteater, horned rabbit, and great Batorasu. Each monster gets a brief description of its attack patterns and characteristics to help you prepare for battles. Focus then shifts to the Cave of the Serpent, one of the initial key locations, along with the Tower of Najimi. The guide emphasizes talking to townspeople for information before tackling the dungeon. Maps for B1F and B2F of the cave are provided, along with screenshots showing the party inside the dark, winding passages. The text highlights the mysterious atmosphere and the potential for finding treasure within the cave, noting the discovery of a chest on B2F and prompting the reader to wonder about its contents. The guide encourages players to explore thoroughly and decide to push deeper into the cavern. This page delves into the Tower of Najimi. A key location in Dragon Quest II is situated on a solitary island west of Aliahan. It explains that the tower is built in the center of a floating island and cannot be reached by land, hinting that players must discover a specific path to get there.
The tower itself consists of floors B1F through 4Fs, with the internal structure becoming more intricate as the party ascends, even featuring sections without outer walls. The guide warns that the monsters encountered within are more challenging than those faced previously, like the Snake Man. Screenshots show the hero party finding the path to the island, exploring inside the tower, which appears to have a basement level surrounded by water, encountering an enigmatic old man living within, and reaching higher floors where the surrounding scenery changes, suggesting different environments. Maps are provided for floors B1F, 1F, 2Fs, and 3Fs, offering a detailed layout to aid exploration. This page provides helpful tips for players starting their journey in Dragon Quest II on the Super Famicom. It emphasizes the importance of searching various objects like pots and barrels in towns and castles, as these often contain hidden items and secrets. Players are encouraged to explore thoroughly and check any suspicious-looking areas.
The page also delves into the new personality system, which influences character growth.
While the hero's starting personality is determined by questions,
the personalities of companions may also change during the adventure, potentially influenced by conversation choices. A strong recommendation is given for the new thief vocation, highlighting its invaluable skills such as finding treasure chests, navigating dungeons, and even moving without encountering enemies, making them excellent explorers and treasure hunters. The guide also notes that characters can change jobs later while retaining some abilities, allowing for unique combinations like a warrior who can also use magic. The thief's specialized skills are acquired relatively early, making this class immediately useful for exploration. This page dives into Super Donkey Kong 3, known internationally as Donkey Kong Country 3, for the Super Famicom. Having obtained a sample room just before release, the magazine provides a detailed look at the game. The adventure stars Dinky Kong and Kiddy Kong, a new pairing searching for the missing Diddy Kong on the mysterious Cremis Island. Like previous entries, gameplay involves clearing numerous stages and defeating bosses to advance through different areas. However, a significant new element highlighted is that each area now hides secrets waiting to be discovered and solved, adding a fresh layer of exploration and challenge beyond simply reaching the exit. Screenshots show diverse environments, including a mysterious cave with glowing crystals that seem color-coded like controller buttons, hinting at puzzles or mechanics. Another image displays an indoor setting, perhaps a workshop or cabin, with a caption suggesting someone saw Diddy recently, adding to the narrative of their search.
This Super Famicom action title promises more challenging platforming and secret hunting.
This page delves into the distinct abilities of the new protagonists in Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong, and the newly introduced Kiddy Kong, and how their unique skills are essential for navigating the challenging stages. The article highlights that the characters in this installment have more varied actions compared to previous games. Dixie Kong retains her signature ponytail spin, allowing her to glide across gaps and reach new heights. She can also pick up and throw barrels, and importantly, throw Kiddy Kong. Kiddy Kong, the new addition, brings his own set of moves. He can roll along the ground, plowing through enemies, and surprisingly, he can even roll across the surface of the water. His weight is also a factor. He can pound the ground to break certain floors and reveal secrets. The Team UP mechanic is crucial, allowing players to swap between Dixie and Kiddy using the select button. Throwing your partner is key to progression.
Dixie can throw the heavier Kiddy Kong to smash obstacles or access areas she can't reach alone. Conversely, Kiddy can throw the lighter Dixie Kong higher and further, enabling access to higher platforms or longer distances. These combined abilities are vital for solving the many puzzles and overcoming the obstacles presented in the game's levels. This page introduces the helpful animal friends in Donkey Kong Country 3, highlighting how they provide essential abilities to navigate challenging stages. Returning characters include Ingardi the swordfish, useful for powerful underwater charges, and Squawks the parrot, who assists with flight, egg attacks, and even carrying barrels in some forms. New additions are Ellie the elephant, who can spray water to attack, and Perry the parallel bird, who flies alongside the player. The article emphasizes that special barrels allow Dixie or Kiddy to transform into these animal friends, granting them the unique skills needed to overcome specific obstacles and reach new areas not accessible in their normal form.
This page explores the beginning of Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, on the Super Famicom, detailing the game's introduction and initial flow. It shows the save system, including the status screen showing completion percentage and 3 save slots. The article explains the 3 distinct game modes: a single-player mode with Dixie and Kiddy Kong, a 2-player contest mode where players alternate upon losing a life, and a 2-player team mode for cooperative play. Screenshots depict key early moments, like borrowing a boat from Funky Kong to set off, arriving at an island, and meeting Wrinkly Kong. The page confirms Dixie and Kiddy as the playable characters as they embark on their adventure towards K. Rool's Island. This page provides a detailed look at Orangutan Lake, known as Lakeside Limbo internationally, the first area in Donkey Kong Country 3. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. It acts as a map and guide to the stages and points of interest. The article covers various level themes found here, including basic platforming stages, where you practice moves like teaming up, a water level requiring you to swim against a current, a slippery snow stage, and a dark stage where you control the new animal friend Ellie the elephant, who must contend with mice. Returning animal friends Ingardi the swordfish and Squitter the spider are also highlighted as appearing in this area. Key locations like Wrinkly Kong's Save Point Cave and Barnacle Bear's item shop are shown on the map. Swanky Kong's tent, offering challenging minigames, is also featured. Finally, the page introduces Belcha, the boss of Orangutan Lake, a giant barrel that spits enemies, posing the first major challenge. This page provides a comprehensive look at Kremwood Forest, the second area you'll explore in Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. It includes a detailed map of the area, highlighting various stages and points of interest. The guide breaks down some of the unique challenges found here. One stage requires you to use barrels strategically to shield yourself from falling rocks thrown by enemies. Another section is described as demanding quick and precise controls, emphasizing the area's focus on skill, including time attack challenges, where achieving a good time is key to reaching the goal safely through areas filled with various enemies. You'll also encounter a stage where you must defeat mice within a large wheel to progress and navigate dangerous underwater sections teeming with predatory fish. Other stages utilize unique mechanics, like bouncing off jumping spiders to ascend. The map points out key locations such as Funky's Rentals, where you can access vehicles, and other important spots like shops or save points. The page culminates with an introduction to a Kirich, the boss of Kremwood Forest, a fearsome giant spider that attacks with a barrage of projectiles, presenting a significant challenge that requires careful movement and timing to overcome. Overall, Kremwood Forest steps up the difficulty, demanding greater precision and mastery of the game's mechanics. This page is an advertisement for Shining Scorpion,
Let's Go! On Super Famicom, releasing December 20th for 8,800 yen. It highlights game modes and features characters from the Mini 4WD racing series. This page dives into the gameplay mechanics of Shining Scorpion. Let's Go! For the Super Famicom, it highlights the free battle mode, where players can race using the password system to share custom-tuned Mini 4WD cars with friends for competitive battles. The page also details how to set up and run tournaments, allowing players to create their own racing events. Key gameplay elements like the on-screen display during races, the results screen showing car names and times, and the crucial durability system for car parts are explained. Players need to manage wear and tear on components like motors and batteries, which degrade with use. The importance of maintenance is stressed, showing screens related to checking and repairing parts to keep cars performing optimally. This level of detail in tuning, battling, and maintenance adds significant depth to the racing experience, encouraging players to experiment with different setups and manage their car's condition carefully. This page delves further into the world of Shining Scorpion. Let's Go! Focusing on its story mode and world exploration. The main goal is to progress through various towns, ultimately aiming for the Super Great Japan Cup, SACE GJC. Travel is essential, moving between locations to advance the narrative and find races. Exploring the world involves visiting different places within towns, like the familiar model shops and game centers that fans of the anime will recognize. Movement within fields is done by walking, while transportation is used to travel between different towns. A crucial aspect introduced is the points system. Earned by competing in races, particularly grass races, these points serve as currency. Players can use them at shops to purchase parts and upgrade their Mini 4WD machines. Winning races is key to accumulating points, with higher placements yielding more. The page also highlights key character appearances, notably introducing the protagonists Retsu and Goseba early in the game. Screenshots show interactions in places like the model shop, teasing events like Retsu facing machine trouble or Go's surprising popularity. The arrival of a mysterious, legendary mechanic man is also teased. Finally, one of the featured machines is the Hurricane Sonic, emphasized for its exceptional speed and cornering ability, noted as Retsu's masterfully tuned versus Sonic. The importance of proper machine setting is underlined for peak performance. This confirms the deep tuning focus from the previous page is central to the story mode progression as well. Shining Scorpion, Let's Go! Conti's race mode focuses on mastering track layouts for optimal speed and cornering. A precise start, reacting to the green light, is crucial, and support affects race outcomes. The results screen displays competitor times. Key moments, like close finishes at locations like the Sagami Model Shop and Spring Race Final, are highlighted with screenshots. Gao, a careless but friendly racer, is featured, showcasing his Cyclone Magnum, a crazy fast machine closely tied to his racing style. The contrast between Gao's intuitive style and Retsu's technical approach is emphasized. This page is all about Momotaro Dentetsu Happy for the Nintendo 64. It's a board game where players travel across Japan by train, buying up properties, and aiming to be the richest. The core goal is to reach a randomly assigned destination first, to get a bonus, and avoid paying money to the player who owns the most property at that location. You roll dice to move, land on different squares, and strategize by buying businesses like fish markets or factories. Screenshots show the game map, character interactions, different types of stations, like those giving money, taking money, or letting you use cards, and even card usage, such as a block card to defend against attacks, or a Shinkansen card to roll multiple dice and travel faster. The game includes competitive elements where players can attack each other's assets, like the steel card, shown in a battle scene. It looks like a fun, strategic party game, perfect for up to 4 players. This page dives deeper into the game mechanics of Momotaro Dentetsu Happy for the Super Famicom, focusing heavily on the impact of random events. It highlights that these events, both good and bad, are key to determining the outcome of the game. New events are a major feature. We see Pessi, a legendary dinosaur appearing at Lake Biwa, and events that can lead to big temporary income, like a popular factory, or owning properties in Olympic host cities such as Nagano and Karuizawa, earning big cash boosts. But beware, an inch ahead is darkness, with unhappy events. A new monster, Dojira, makes appearances, destroying properties and causing damage.
Classic nuisances like Ginji the pickpocket return to steal your hard-earned cash, sometimes even in disguise. And the dreaded King Bonbi is back with his terrible deeds, including the special torment of being sent to Bonbirasu Star. There are also glimpses of other events, like a baseball scenario, where Momo Ichiro can become MVP, and a mysterious money tornado event. The page emphasizes that predicting the outcome of these events adds significant thrills to the gameplay. This page features Disney's Pinocchio for the Super Famicom, an action game based on the classic animated film. The game is scheduled for release on December 20th for 7,500 yen by Capcom. Players guide Pinocchio through various stages, utilizing his abilities like jumping with the A button and a spin kick with the Wavy button to overcome obstacles and enemies. The game features key characters from the film, including the Blue Fairy and Jiminy Cricket, who serves as Pinocchio's conscience and is actively involved in the adventure. Players collect various items scattered throughout the levels, such as colored pages that provide different effects, a textbook, a fairy wand for healing, and Pinocchio's hat. Each item has a unique purpose to help Pinocchio on his quest to become a real boy. The visuals capture the charm of the Disney animation, bringing the storybook world to life on the Super Famicom. This page dives deeper into the gameplay of Disney's Pinocchio for the Super Famicom, detailing the challenges Pinocchio faces on his quest to become a real boy. The ultimate goal is to overcome several stages and collect 3 heart badges: an honest heart, a brave heart, and a compassionate heart. Collecting all 3 transforms Pinocchio into a human child. The page highlights 4 specific stages. Stage 1, going to school for the first time, sees Pinocchio navigating the town streets, avoiding obstacles, and finding the correct path while trying not to lie, lest his nose grow. Stage 2. Pinocchio is the star here. Puts Pinocchio on stage for a puppet show where he must imitate marionettes and defend himself, possibly using his umbrella. Stage 3. Match the Marionette 1, 2, 3 is a rhythm-based stage where players match the movements of marionettes using the controller, aiming for a successful performance. Stage 4. Adventure Island is full of danger. Takes Pinocchio to a perilous amusement park featuring roller coaster sections, balloon rides, and dangerous encounters with other children throwing objects. Screenshots showcase platforming, rhythmic gameplay, Pinocchio's growing nose, and the unique environments of each stage, promising varied challenges in this animated adventure. This page introduces Versus Collection for the Super Famicom, a compilation game featuring 4 distinct competitive titles designed for multiplayer fun. Developed by Bottom Up and slated for a November 29th release at 6,980 yen, this title was also showcased at Nintendo Space World 96. It supports up to 4 players simultaneously using a multitap, promising exciting head-to-head matchups. The 4 games included are Yukidama Poi Poi, a chaotic snowball fight game for 12 players where you eliminate opponents by hitting them with snowballs. Tamago Panic, a puzzle game for 13 players where quick thinking is key to matching and clearing falling eggs to send obstacles to your opponents. Toria Attack, a 14-player battle royale on platforms where the goal is to knock opponents off the stage using charged body blows. Doki Doki Race, a high-speed racing game for 12 players with split-screen support, featuring shortcuts as the key to victory across 4 courses. Screenshots showcase the varied gameplay styles, from the whimsical snowball arena and strategic egg-matching grid, to the frantic platform brawling and top-down racing action, emphasizing the diverse competitive experiences offered in this collection. This page features Super Jinsei Game 3 for the Super Famicom, the latest entry in the board game simulation series. The central mechanic revolves around spinning the roulette wheel to advance through life's journey, with the game boasting renewed fun and doubled enjoyment compared to previous installments. Key additions include a new power roulette system that allows players to adjust the spin's strength, adding an element of timing and skill to where you land. The game also introduces zodiac signs, which are set during player creation and can influence events encountered throughout the game. There are now 4 distinct courses available, catering to different playstyles and life stages like high school and childhood. Character customization is expanded, with faces and clothing changing as your character grows from a baby through elementary, middle, high school, and into adulthood, allowing for greater personalization. The page highlights screenshots showing the roulette wheel, job selection, with various professions like comedian, doctor, and lawyer, character interactions, course selection, and the visual progression of characters through different ages, emphasizing the expanded content and dynamic gameplay experience. This page features Donkey Kong Land for the Game Boy,
a portable adventure where Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong team up to rescue Donkey Kong. Scheduled for release on November 23 by Nintendo for 3,000 yen, this action game supports 13 colors and utilizes 4 megabits, with support for up to 3 save slots. The page highlights various actions needed to clear stages, building upon the gameplay of the Super Famicom series while adapting it for the Game Boy. Players will navigate environments by utilizing basic moves like climbing ropes, swimming, though unable to attack underwater, throwing barrels at enemies, and running by holding the B button. A key element is utilizing the unique abilities of Diddy and Dixie, who can be switched between using the select button. Dixie Kong, playing a major role in Donkey Kong's absence, can perform a ponytail spin by holding B during a jump, allowing for a slow, controlled descent ideal for landing on narrow platforms. She can also jump further than usual.
Diddy Kong, returning from the previous game, has his signature rolling attack. By rolling from the edge of a platform and jumping mid-air, Diddy can cover long distances, which is crucial for traversing gaps. Mastering these distinct abilities is essential for progressing through the game's challenging levels. This page delves further into the mechanics of Donkey Kong Land on the Game Boy, showcasing the crucial role of animal friends and giving a sneak peek at challenging later areas and boss encounters. You'll rely on various animal friends encountered by jumping into special barrels, each granting unique abilities. Highlights include Squidder the Spider, who can shoot webs to create platforms, Rambi the Rhino and Engard the Swordfish with their dash charges, Rattly the Rattlesnake with a powerful jump charge, and Squawks the Parrot who allows free flight. Clapper the Seal is also mentioned as useful, although not rideable. The page previews challenging areas like the pirate ship, where stages are built on masts and decks, and a fiery cave area filled with treacherous jumps and little safe ground. A key tip is mastering the ability to bounce off enemies to reach new heights or cross gaps. Finally, 2 boss fights are shown. On the ship, you face a boss referred to as Boss Zucky, who is defeated by luring him and throwing eggs. In the fiery cave, the boss called Boss Clumbler challenges you in a narrow arena, requiring you to jump on the barrel he uses as an attack to defeat him. Mastering these skills and allies is key to progression. This page showcases a new entry in the popular Pachyo-kun series for the Game Boy, described as a compilation bringing together elements from Pachyo-kun 1, 2, and 3. The core experience is presented as an authentic pachinko simulator, where success hinges on choosing the right parlor and machine, and even understanding the layout of the nails on the board. Beyond the realistic pachinko gameplay, the game incorporates adventure elements with story modes, drawing from the narratives of previous titles like Rescuing Ginkgo or Undertaking Trials. There's also a distinct falling block puzzle game called Pachyo-kun Castle, featuring the series characters. Adding to the variety, the game includes a 2-player head-to-head versus mode playable via communication cable. It looks like a solid package, offering multiple ways to enjoy the world of Pachyo-kun. This page previews the GB Genjin Collection, a compilation bringing together 3 Bonk titles from the Game Boy series into one game. Developed by Hudson, this release, scheduled for November 22nd, bundles the original GB Bonk's Adventure, GB Bonk's Revenge, and GB Bonk's Cherry Bomb Country. Each game is playable independently, offering the classic action platforming fun the series is known for. The page highlights various aspects of the games, including character transformations or specific characters like Kame Genjin, GB Kyojin, and GB Iwajin, showcasing their unique abilities. Several screenshots illustrate gameplay from the core platforming levels, including vertical climbing and battling various enemies. Additionally, the page details the 6 minigames found in Bonk's Cherry Bomb Country, such as Hey, Shinbo, Little Coaster, Mystery Search, Chickun Mansion, Bone Bone Crumble, and Chickun Pound, showing brief glimpses of these distinct challenges. It's a packed collection, offering a lot of Bonk action for Game Boy fans. This page is a feature on stamp collecting, titled Time Travel with Stamps. It explores the history of environmental protection movements in Japan by showcasing stamps issued throughout the years. The article presents a timeline from 1948 to 1996, highlighting stamps related to various nature and conservation efforts, such as afforestation campaigns, Bird Conservation Week, anti-pollution efforts, environmental law, the Washington Convention protecting endangered species, and World Heritage Sites. It also introduces essential tools for stamp collecting, including tweezers, magnifiers, stock books, and catalogs, explaining their uses. Finally, there's a small section listing new stamp releases for the month. This page is all about getting your hands on unreleased games. It's promoting
Famimaga Land in Tokyo's Shinkiba, where you can play upcoming titles before they hit shelves every Saturday, completely free from noon to 6 p.m. It mentions a list of games scheduled for display on November 16th, and those releasing on November 22nd. If you give feedback by participating in a game review survey, you'll even get an original phone card. For those who want a more relaxed experience, Sunday is Famimaga Weekly Members Day. Members can play more thoroughly, get an original phone card, and even receive 1,000 yen towards transportation. It also promotes the latest issue of Famimaga Weekly magazine, which is out now, and gives a preview of the next issue. Highlights in the preview include strategy guides for games like Wonder Project J2 on 64, Mysterious Dungeon, Fushigi no Dungeon on GB, and articles covering topics such as Mario, and Momotaro Dentetsu Happy. This page is a guide to unlocking special tricks or super techniques in Thoroughbred Breeder 2i. It explains that by entering specific names for your stable, you can activate cheats that provide significant advantages in the game. For example, entering the stable name instantly gives you 52.4 billion yen and unlocks all 5 major benefits at once, including gaining wealth and having all facilities invested in. The guide also details how entering other names can grant skilled assistance from the start, allow you to register horses for races early, make all your breeding stock highly capable, and complete all facility investments. Screenshots illustrate the effects, showing the increased money, character portraits of assistants, investment menus, and horse registration screens. It's essentially a cheat sheet for players looking to get a head start or experience the game with fewer limitations. This page features tips and secrets for 3 different games. For Game Boy's Picross 2, it details how to set up and play the game in 2-player simultaneous mode by connecting 2 units and using a specific button combination involving L, R, and X. For the Super Famicom title Monstania, it explains how to access the sound test mode and effect viewer directly from the title screen by holding L, R, and X while pressing start. This allows players to listen to the game's music and check out various sound effects. Finally, the page provides a secret for SD Hiryu no Ken Gaiden on the Super Famicom, revealing how to unlock the boss character, Ryumao, by holding A, B, and down, then pressing start at the title screen. Ryumao becomes available for selection at the top of the character select screen, noted for having powerful special moves. The page shows screenshots of the games, including a Picross puzzle, the Monstania title and sound test screens, and the SD Hiryu no Ken Gaiden title, character select and gameplay featuring Ryumao. This page is part of a reader message board featuring game tips and secrets for the Super Famicom GameStar Ocean. It provides detailed instructions on how to recruit the catgirl character Parasy into the party. This involves a private action in Krat Village to name a cat, obtaining the Ocarina item from Port Mise, and then playing the Ocarina near the cat to have Parasy appear and join. The page also explains how to obtain and use Bernie, a large bunny that serves as a fast travel mount. After recruiting Parasy, the player must visit the treasure palace and talk to her in the second room. Then go to the item shop in Hato Town. There, they will witness the Bernie statue move, and can then use the Bernie whistle item to summon Bernie and ride it on the world map for significantly increased movement speed. Screenshots illustrate the key locations and events mentioned in these tips. The page also includes brief messages from other readers, mentioning Super Mario 64 and Romancing Saga 3. This page features Super Ultra Techniques, sharing tips for several games. For Wizardry Gaiden IV, Throb of the Demon's Heart, there's a guide on efficiently gaining experience points by repeatedly fighting Okikusama, who reappears if you go up and down stairs after defeating her. Screenshots show the encounter and discarding items. Next, for Super Famicom exclusive Crayon Shinchan, Nagagutsu Dokyun, you can unlock the instant ending. By starting the solo mode and selecting Continue, you reach the password screen. Entering the password, green, blue, green, red, immediately triggers the ending sequence. Finally, for Parlor Mini 3, you can access a hidden settings menu by pressing L and R while pressing Y. This menu includes an absolute hit option, which, when enabled, guarantees that all jackpot reaches will be successful, making it easy to rack up big wins, which the tip excitedly notes, really feels good. Screenshots illustrate the hidden menu and the resulting jackpot screen. This page provides game tips for various consoles. Pilot Wings 64 players can revive a burnt pilot by viewing the map. Wave Race. 64 players can force a course out by hitting an obstacle. Treasure Hunter G on Super Famicom reveals how to get the magic staff by investigating Atlas Castle. SD Hiryu no Ken Gaiden 2. Dragon King Appears offers a strategy for defeating the Dragon King. Super Robot Wars Advice suggests leveling units to ace for God Gundam's Hyper Mode. Traverse. Starlight and Steel's Museum can be entered all night if accessed at 5 p.m. Filling high. Winning Post Program. 96 lets players speed up races by holding L and R simultaneously. A message board section concludes the page. This page is all about Super Ultra techniques, showcasing reader-submitted advanced tips and glitches for various games and calling for more submissions. The magazine is running a contest for these techniques, offering prizes like gold, silver, bronze, and wood coins, along with cash and commemorative items. Readers can submit their findings via postcard or fax. The tips featured include a method in Harvest Moon, Super Famicom, to rapidly increase the number of horses by repeatedly picking up and placing chicks while mounted. For Marvel Superheroes, War of the Gems, Super Famicom, there's a tip explaining how to execute special attacks, specifically highlighting how holding up and pressing Stati performs Iron Man's uppercut. The page also provides 2 tips for Wizardry Gaiden IV, Throb of the Demon's Heart, Super Famicom, showing the location of the skeleton's pub on the map, and describing how setting the message speed to infinity can make the game unable to proceed. Brief mentions cover finding Yoshi in Super Mario 64 after collecting all 120 stars, causing a course out in Wave Race 64 by hitting obstacles to see dolphins or an orca, and a condition in J-League Excite Stage 96 that makes Clafty Rose appear. The criteria for submitting techniques emphasize completing games or achieving specific feats without continuing. This page dives into the Satellaview broadcasting schedule and user engagement for programs like Game Tiger's Super Big Hole, a voice and visual segment airing on Sundays. A key interactive corner is the 64 Theater, where players submit ideas for speech bubbles in game screenshots via postcard for a chance to win prizes. The current topic for this segment is a scene from Wave Race 64. Other parts of the program include 64 related corners featuring general information, Q&A, and insider talk. The page also includes a detailed program schedule for late November on the Satellaview, listing broadcasts for games like Derby Stallion, 96 data updates, RPG Maker 2 data, Harvest Moon, BS Marvelous, Super Aleste, Super Momotaro Dentetsu 2, and more. This page features the RGB Maniac Reader Corner, where the magazine team ponders how many people actually read this section. It includes the Postcard Mania Garden and the Maniac Theme Art Gallery, primarily showcasing reader submissions. In the Postcard Mania Garden, readers discuss various topics, including suggestions for new corners like introducing favorite characters, or listing character names. There's also a discussion about matching birth dates with game release dates. One submission humorously points out a conflict between their birthday and the release date of a game they were anticipating. The Maniac Theme Art Gallery focuses on the theme Bad Guys. Featured artwork includes villains from popular games. There are illustrations related to the Mana series, Seiken Densetsu 2 or 3, characters from the Tales series, possibly Tales of Fantasia villains like Daos, and even a peculiar Mario drawing in a style reminiscent of Donkey Kong Jr., accompanied by a comment about him being a bad guy back then. Other drawings depict various antagonistic characters and interpretations of villains, with comments from the editors or submitters about their appearance or impact. A large illustration titled, Like a Beautiful Beast is also featured. This page dives into reader submissions with several featured corners. The nameless 2-panel manga section presents short, humorous comic strips from readers, offering quick gags and observations, including one seemingly about throwing apples at a spiky creature. The Listen to My Song corner is dedicated to favorite game music, where readers share their passion for specific tracks, like enjoying listening and singing along to opening themes such as the one from Tales of Fantasia. The main attraction is the Maniac Art Gallery, a showcase for reader fan art. This issue features a variety of submissions, prominently including characters from Star Ocean, with comments praising their beauty and detail. There's also art depicting characters from Emerald Dragon, Dokusei, and Trials of Mana, from Seiken Densetsu 3, alongside more obscure pieces like Soul Saber Blader and a creature labeled Benamoon Lagoon, a drawing of Sarah with large wings, symbolizing both angelic and demonic aspects, is highlighted as the highest value art piece for the issue. The page also shows the cover art for Famicom Tante Club Part 2I. This page features reader submissions, starting with the Kokoro no Ippon corner, where readers share their most memorable game experiences. One reader highlights Trials of Mana, praising its fast action and exploration, but also recounting the frustrating experience of losing their save file repeatedly before reaching the final boss Carl. Another reader picks Street Fighter II, recalling epic 5-hour versus matches with friends. The page also includes a Maniac art gallery showcasing various reader fan art. This includes drawings of characters from Tales of Phantasia, Wonder Project J2, specifically Mecha Josette, Final Fantasy VI, featuring Mog, Gao, and Realm, with notes on character appeal, Treasure Hunter G and Treasure Hunter GXX, Shin Megami Tensei If, Romancing Saga 3, Dragon Quest IV, Suikoden, and Final Fantasy II. The art displays a range of styles and favorite characters, from iconic heroes like Fifirion and Tyr McDull, to less commonly depicted duos like Dr. Hell and Gromblue. A small fan comic strip related to Dragon Quest is also included. Finally, the magazine provides the mailing address for readers to send in their contributions to various sections. This page is a full-page advertisement for Wonder Project J2, Koro's Forest Josette, on Nintendo 64. It highlights the game's protagonist, Josette, a mechanical girl whose emotions change based on the player's interactions in this communication adventure game. It was Enix's first title for the N64. This page kicks off a super new game sneak peek feature, spotlighting Magica Siki Eltil, tentative name, for the Nintendo 64, an upcoming RPG from Imagineer. This looks to be the first third-party RPG heading to the N64, promising a 3D experience with graphics rendered using polygons. A cool feature highlighted is the real-time progression of time within the game world, shown with a screenshot transitioning from daylight to sunset. The game appears to be a 3D dungeon crawler as well, with previews of an eerie dungeon environment where monsters might be waiting. The game is still in development, with no release date or final pricing announced yet. The page also includes a brief index mentioning other games previewed in this issue for Super Famicom and Game Boy. This page dives into previews for upcoming games on Game Boy and Super Famicom. First up is Tetris Plus for the Game Boy, described as the latest evolution of the classic falling block puzzle game. It introduces new modes beyond the standard Tetris, including a unique puzzle mode, where you need to clear blocks to help characters reach the bottom before a ceiling descends. Screenshots show the familiar Tetris grid alongside the puzzle mode, with its moving characters. Next is Super Chinese Fighter GB, bringing the action of the Super Chinese series to the Game Boy as a fighting game. It features 12 playable characters, and incorporates items and special moves into the combat. One screenshot shows a victory pose screen, while another captures a moment from a fight. Finally, we have Nintama Rantaro 3, Ninjutsu Gakuen Daikonsen no Dan for the Super Famicom. This game is based on the popular anime and manga, focusing on a story-driven adventure through the Ninja Academy. It seems to feature a variety of different minigames, or sabijemu, to progress. A screenshot shows what looks like one of these minigames involving matching or identifying items. This page showcases previews for exciting upcoming games. First is Pro Yaku Star for the Super Famicom, a baseball game developed by Culture Brain. A major highlight is its extensive training mode, where you guide a young baseball player, honing their skills through practice and games against rivals, all with the goal of being scouted and reaching the professional league. The game promises an enhanced batting and pitching system, making the action more accessible. Also featured is Arkanoid Do It Again from Taito, resurrecting the beloved block-breaking series on the Super Famicom. This new iteration brings back the classic paddle and ball action with modern twists. Players can collect items from destroyed blocks to alter gameplay, like expanding the paddle. The game introduces cooperative play to tackle stages with a friend, and a competitive versus mode, where strategic block clearing is key. It also includes a stage editor feature for creating custom levels, and features boss battles after completing sets of stages. This page presents new release information for the Super Famicom, Nintendo 64, and Game Boy platforms. It functions as a comprehensive list, detailing upcoming game titles, their planned release dates or status, such as undecided or late month, the developer or publisher, and the expected price. The Super Famicom list features a variety of genres, including sequels like Donkey Kong Country 3, sports games like Pro Yaku Star, and other titles with mixed release statuses stretching into early 1997. The Nintendo 64 section highlights games like Mario Kart 64 and various upcoming titles, with many listed as having undecided release dates. The Game Boy list includes both standard and 13-color compatible games, featuring titles from popular series and other genres, also with a mix of specific and undecided dates. The page serves as a quick reference for players interested in knowing what games are on the horizon for these systems. This page features a lively comic strip at the top, with 3 panels showing some cute characters interacting with a switch, seemingly turning it on and off. Below the comic there's a preview of the next issue, promising detailed information from Nintendo 64 Space World 96, along with an easy-to-understand guide for Donkey Kong Country 2 on the Super Famicom. The page also provides an updated release calendar, continuing from the previous page's schedules. This section lists upcoming games for the Game Boy, Virtual Boy, and a list of re-releases, complete with planned release dates, publishers, and prices. It also includes a key explaining how to read the calendar, noting that blue text indicates a first appearance entry, and red text indicates a change since the last issue, and that titles with 13 are compatible with Super Game Boy's 13 color mode. On the right, an early bird info section highlights some upcoming titles. It mentions that Enix is developing an action game for the Nintendo 64, tentatively titled Yuki Yuk Troublemakers, and that Virgin Interactive is bringing The Mask as an action game to the Super Famicom on December 27th for 9,800 yen. Finally, the bottom of the page features a large promotion from Fanta, offering a chance to win Nintendo 64 consoles or games by collecting and sending in application seals from Fanta products. It also provides phone numbers for a Fanta TV game dial service. This page showcases Konami's exciting lineup of Nintendo 64 titles heating up the winter season. First up is JICU, J.League Perfect Striker, a realistic soccer game promising an unprecedented level of immersion. It features powerful actions recreated with motion capture, smooth controls, and the thrilling atmosphere of J.League Soccer, announced by TBS announcer Daisuke Shimizu. This highly anticipated title is set to launch on December 20th for a price of 9,800 yen plus tax. Following that is Mahjong Master, offering authentic Mahjong gameplay against sophisticated AI opponents with distinct playstyles. Experience natural tile flow and diverse environmental settings. Designed to be accessible for beginners while challenging for experts, this Mahjong game is scheduled for a December release at 9,800 yen plus tax. Looking ahead in their 64 software lineup, the page teases Part 4. Ganbare Goemon 5 Neo Momoyama Bakufu no Odori. This new adventure features the beloved characters Goemon, Ebisumaru, Yae, and Sasuke. Details regarding the release date and price are still undecided, but the Goemon production committee is hard at work, bringing this title to the N64. The overall theme is clear. This winter will be hot with Konami's stand 64 games. This page spotlights the third title in Konami's lineup set to heat up the winter, JICU Powerful Pro Baseball 4. Featuring the beloved, round-faced Power Pro character holding a baseball bat, the page announces this anticipated baseball simulation game is scheduled for release in the new year of 1997, though the price is currently undecided. A small screenshot gives a glimpse of the gameplay from the batter's perspective, highlighting the unique visual style of the series. It's mentioned that the live commentary will be handled by the ABC Sports Announcer Department. This is clearly a major title for Konami, adding to the excitement they promised for the season. This page is a vibrant feature focusing on the groundbreaking Mario Kart 64 for the Nintendo 64. The page showcases a dynamic illustration of Mario speeding, along with racers like Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Wario, Koopa, and Toad represented around a tire graphic. This action racing game supports 1 to 4 players and was scheduled for release on Saturday, December 14, 1996. Priced at 9,800 yen before tax, and would come packaged with a controller. Fans had the exciting opportunity to experience the game early at Nintendo's Space World 96 event. Held at Makuhari Messe in Chiba on November 23 and 24, 1996, the event offered free entry from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., featuring special events like a Mario Kart 64 tournament battle, and a public recording of the 64 Mario Stadium TV show. Nintendo provides contact information for various cities and their website for further details.